For this tutorial, I'm going to address some of the prior questions that were asked from 2021 tutorial about 5 or 6 months ago. And then I'll get into showing you how I did this and then uploaded it. So there was a few questions that people had about actually using text tools. I did my research. I'm guessing that people were using other versions. Shouldn't have to switch to cycles. But we're going to get into how to do that, and I figured Steam's already open, so we'll be using the Steam version. Okay, so I have numerous versions of Blender throughout my computer. Don't ask me why, I just don't like space on my computer, so I need to fill it all up. So right here, underneath Blender, if you right click, if you just download Blender straight onto Steam, you're going to get the regular update, whatever it is. But if you right click, hit properties, go into betas, and it's 2.83 stable. We're going to do that, downloading. So when you download Blender, you got to re-download this. It should delete the other version, or it very well may stay. I don't know. You can never have too many versions of Blender. It's pretty lightweight for the most part. It's only 111.9 megabytes for this. So we're going to load that up. We're going to go right in here. And somebody, they didn't know right off the bat what to do. I didn't really explain very well setting it up. I'm just figuring everyone's going through all the tutorials that I made before. If you want to go check out my other tutorials, I would highly recommend, when you're in my YouTube, just click on the name and videos. And this gives all the videos I've put up throughout the years. Not too many. I'm at 129 subscribers. This is awesome. Thank you guys. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please consider. There's other channels out there that I put in a couple tidbits of info in my prior, I should say my prior streams / information, and they're a lot bigger. People get to that information before they get to where they got that info. So please subscribe. It helps me out. You will be able to use your skins on my server. I'll be releasing my server at 1,000. On my webpage, I'm going to start a GoFundMe so that everybody can get there. They can upload pretty much all their images, or their mats with a T, not P. I know I can't speak. Terrible. And then we'll vote on them in the webpage. It's going to be its own little community. It'll be linked to the Discord, and you'll have your own profile, and we can keep stats, and then that way we can do our own voting thing. And I don't want to say cut Hulk out of it, but you know, at least we'll be able to put what we want on to our server. And then I think every month, I'll be doing a video series and finishing up on how to make, where is it? Your own Rust maps, right here. So if somebody makes a map, you know, I'll host it. We'll put it up. But for right now, one thing at a time, let's just work on getting to 1,000 subs. You're going to click on Workshop. And this is what I made. Hunter beanie. Now I chose a beanie just because it's one of those things that you automatically get as an item. Everyone starts with it. Plus they look kind of cool. So it's nothing special, but as you can see here, I did the stitching and the normal maps basically around, all while keeping texture the same. And I did that using, let's close this right here. So when you're in edit, somebody asked about these. How you download the actual OBJ is right here. You click this button, saves it as a model, and then you put it in whatever directory you want to. You can't make your own directory, so you're going to have to do it outside. So 2021, and then I did beanie down here. I typed in beanie.obj. And once that's saved, then you get the OBJ. We'll exit out of this. Right on my desktop, I made a file called Hunters. And I downloaded my textures from textures.com. You can check out all that right here. a 535, 5135. And we're going to start Blender. Under 2.83. Launch. Let's try. Edit. Preferences. Add-ons. Install underneath. I downloaded text tools underneath my C drive. Install add-on. And then make sure you have it checked. And that's it. A, X, delete. And then file, import, and you're going to import your OBJ. Underneath C, 2021, and we have beanie.obj. First things first, as to scale, we're doing 20. The reason why we're doing 20 is because if it's super small, your camera is going to really struggle. It's going to not work properly when we convert this OBJ over for our template. So G, Y, bring this over to the middle, and then we're going to rotate it on the X, R, and then X. G, Y, Z. There we go. And this is our beanie. Hooray. UV editing, A, tab. There we go. This is what we have. I'm going to hit N on texture. All the way up. And text tools. And hit the color N. Okay. And then 3. This one I'm going to make a little bit different. See if we hit this blue now, that kind of covered it there. Hit A for all, red. I like hitting W for some of these. So for this one, all that I did was I basically had 3 set colors. Holding shift, going around the whole thing. Yo, this one's going to be blue. The other thing that you can do here, because you know there's going to be 2 of them, underneath UV editing, do that, hit W, hold shift, and it'll do that down here. And then when you jump back over to texture paint, press tab, it'll all be right there. So then you just assign that green, or whichever. So now that we have that, because this is all going to be one color, and we're going to mix the 2 colors in between here so that it fades in. So that's basically what I did. And then you file, export. Well, it's probably good to export the OBJ before you start painting on it, but if you don't, it's not a big deal. Export as an FBX. And for this one, it's the same thing. Underneath C 2021, I did beanie FBX.FBX. And that's what I had saved it as. Next thing you want to do is you want to bake this. Ooh. And we're going to choose it as a diffuse. Bake. We'll do element ID. Hit bake. We're going to do it as a material ID. Hit bake. I knew one of them worked. Either way, this gets the point across. What we want to do is just have 3 separate materials. That's all we really want. And instead of 512, we want 1024. 1024. Bake. There we go. Bigger map, the more, or the bigger this is. Oh, fuck it. 2048. Or you can just click on that and hit bake. So it's a lot bigger, but that's our material info. That works for me. And then image and save as. And it doesn't really matter. Beanie ID material. And again, I'm just going to put it underneath 2021. Beanie ID material.g. Now that we're in here, we're going to do underneath beanie a new mix. Tutorial, it's underneath 2048. It's loading. We're going to load in a custom model, which was our beanie, not the OBJ. Actually, let's load up the OBJ so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the beanie that you download from Rust. Clicking once, twice. See how it's jumping and I'm just moving it once? It's because it's so small that there's really not a lot of area you can zoom over. So instead of this, we're going to do the increased one where we increase the size, and now we actually have a lot more control over this. What you want to do is texture sets, material ID. We're going to go up to 2021, and I'm going to use this material ID. Okay. And library import custom surface. When you download things from texture.com, I had red flannel, so here's a wool. You would do the diffuse as your diffuse or your albit. I can't even say that word. And you would fill them all in. Basically, just click the open folder, and there you go. Your displacement is your height map. And then once you do that, yes, gotcha. So there's your fabric. I don't know if it has a gloss. So normal, choose your normal. Displacement is your height. Your roughness, there's your height map. Throw the roughness in there. There's another one that we need to use. Oh, AO. There we go. And click next. The height is how much the maximum height is starting off. So if you start all the way low, it'll never get any higher than that. I like to have, some sort of play, so I usually do 5. Because it doesn't have to be 5. You can always raise it lower, or you can put it lower, but you can never raise it above that. And then I do 3 meters by 3 meters. It's how much the area would be stretching. And then my surface, and you give it a name. We'll do my surface. We'll call this one next. Say material, import, select your surface. Oh, my surfaces. Import. And it'll show up underneath your local library. So it's basically the same exact thing. That could actually pass as one of its own. But height, frequency. Not bad. Local library. We'll do wool 7 as well. Let's see. Wool 7. Add ID mask. We're going to do bright yellow. These two. That's magenta. Okay. And then add ID mask. Huh. Another thing that we want to do is we want to go back up here. And our placement, we want to change tiling. There we go. Wool 5, same thing. Tiling. Eight. Orange. 2, 1. And we are going to change the repetitions, how many times it moves over. Or we can just have it as the magenta. And so let's switch these. I'm going to drag this one below. That off. All right. Jump back down to the wool here. We're going to rotate 90 degrees. Then offset Y. So let's give it a couple more repetitions. All right. So green's the top, yellow is the bottom. As for wolf, there we go. Eight. Want the purple is the mixture. We will do that. However, we are going to wrap to underline. Happens when we flip them. There we go. And just mess around with it. Doesn't look too bad. And let's throw one more thing. Throw the hunter's camp. And we'll put this up at the top. And tiling. Add ID mask. We'll do the bright yellow. Bright purple. Code. This one forever, whatever reason, didn't jump in right away. We got that. Placement normals. I don't know if the normals are there. This placement looks like it's white. Roughness. We'll load in our roughness. Alright, that looks good. And then the AO. Oh, it's already in there. Okay. So, got that. Let's take out the blurring from underlying. Frequency. Tiling. Repetitions. Make as many as you want. It's only as much what you import it as. That's why if it's 2048, it'll look a lot better. But now that we got that, we are going to choose. I choose mouse. Throw that above that one. We want these two to blend together. So I'm not going to wrap that one to the underlying layer. Nor are we going to wrap this one to the underlying layer. This one, however, is going to be its own as well. Now with this, they're all going to share that. I believe there is an opacity blur. So that's this one like that. And how you get two separate ones is you actually just load in another flannel. And this red plan will be the purple. So we'll take off the magenta of this one. Add mask ID. We'll add this onto yeah, because the yellow's at the bottom. So the magenta here. Tiling. That is above this one. And of course, you know, the same thing happened. Load. I don't know why this one's acting like that. And as you can see, we have the same picture here. We have the same picture here. Work on this a little bit more with the height frequency. We'll Cool. Click on red flannel, same thing. Let's get our displacement in here. Roughness map. All right. Now that we got all that, so if we shut this off, as you covering that up, we're gonna bring down the opacity so that they lightly blend into each. We're gonna do this as an addition. We'll just do it. Match to underlying. Oh, that's underneath the roughness. Derp. Not bad. You get the basic idea of how I went ahead and did that. Yeah. And of course, when you're ready to export, just click export the desktop hunters. Boom, boom. I set name tutorial. I always add in the gloss. There's a metalness map, but you can do a specular if you want. It's kind of like wetter surfaces, shinier surfaces. Either way, it works pretty good. And if you want to add on a couple extra touches to this, because this has our tutorial, save, exit. And now that we're back in here, you just upload it right to Rust. And if you look through any of my other tutorials there, you know, you'll be able to find it. Any other questions, feel free to comment. Best way to get a hold of me is to go to the Discord. Just leave a message there or hit me through a DM. Yeah. Like I said, 500 subscribers and I will launch the server. We'll start it off low, 50 people. And then that's just until I can get funding for basically the web page so that we can make our own. It'll be our own little host hub where, yeah, all this stuff is going to be based out of. The Discord is just going to be another. It's already up. There's really not much to it. It's just a way for people to get in contact with each other. So, but workshop, and then Hunter being. You just click on new. Back at the beginning before, and then edit, and then you just upload your diffuse here, normal, specular. They're all labeled for you, and you basically get what you put in. You can mess around with it too from there, like normal scale. Just fine tuning stuff. Glossiness. Don't want any glossiness. AO. Ambient occlusion. And it basically gives you a pretty good idea. All right. Again, sorry for the lack of tutorials, but as always, thank you for watching and subscribing. What I care about is like the engagement, which you guys do engage a lot. Most of you guys that do and ask questions have subscribed. It goes a long way for us to support things that we want to do, like put the money back into making a server and giving more to you guys, without you guys actually physically having to donate. You know, it won't cost you anything. But that subscriber button, it does help out a lot. So, and it's not just my YouTube, anyone's. If you get good information out of there and they're doing it, and then you see them not do it as much, and you haven't subscribed, like, don't expect anything out of anyone. But either way, we're gonna do another tutorial soon on painting method that I just attempted there. It's back in one of my other videos, so if you want to check out one of those other ones, go for it. But all right, so all right, be good, guys.